Good morning everyone, this is class 12th subject chemistry chapter 6 lecture number 4. In this lecture I will be discussing phosphorus halides and then oxoacids of phosphorus. And in the end of this lecture I will be discussing the homework that I gave you in lecture number 3. So now next we will start with phosphorus halides. So phosphorus forms two types of halides. One is PX3 and second is PX5, where this X is halogen atom, and in case of PX3 this X is fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. Whereas in case of PX5 this X is fluorine, chlorine and bromine. Now first of all we will discuss PX3, and in case of PX3 we will discuss phosphorus trichloride. After that we will discuss phosphorus pentachloride. So first we will start with the preparation of phosphorus trichloride. So first preparation of phosphorus trichloride is, it is obtained by passing dry chlorine over white phosphorus. That is, when we heat white phosphorus in presence of chlorine. So here we will get our phosphorus trichloride. This phosphorus trichloride is also prepared by thionyl chloride and phosphorus. That is, when we treat white phosphorus in presence of thionyl chloride, so what will happen? Phosphorus trichloride is formed. Along with phosphorus trichloride, SO2 and H2Cl2 is obtained. So these are the two preparation methods by which we can prepare our phosphorus trichloride. Now next is properties of phosphorus trichloride. So phosphorus trichloride, it is oily liquid and it hydrolyzes in presence of moisture. That is, when we treat this phosphorus trichloride with water, so it will form phosphorus acid. Along with this HCl is also formed. So first property of phosphorus trichloride is it reacts with water and the product is phosphorus acid. Next is this phosphorus trichloride, it also reacts with organic compound. This acetic acid, it is an organic compound, and the reaction is, in this acetic acid this OH group is replaceable. So when we react phosphorus trichloride with acetic acid, this OH group is replaced by chlorine, and here we are getting CH3COCl, and along with this we are getting H3PO3. Similarly, if we have ethanol, this is again an organic compound. So when we treat this organic compound with PCl3, so what will happen? This OH is replaced by Cl, and here we are getting ethyl chloride, and along with ethyl chloride we are getting our phosphorus acid. So these are the reactions of phosphorus trichloride. It reacts with water, it also reacts with organic compound, and in organic compounds, for example in acetic acid and in ethanol, this OH is replaceable. So this OH is replaced by chlorine, and here we are getting acyl chloride and ethyl chloride. Next is structure of phosphorus trichloride. So structure of phosphorus trichloride is, the geometry is tetrahedral and the shape is pyramidal shape. Now how we will calculate the hybridization of this central phosphorus atom in PCl3? So this we can calculate by valence bond theory, and the formula is half number of valence electron in central atom plus monovalent atoms. So halogens generally form monovalent bond, that is single bond. So in phosphorus the valence electrons are 5, and here 3 chlorines are forming single bond. So 5 plus 3 by 2, that is 4, that is 8 by 2, and that will be equal to 4. Now for 4 the hybridization is sp3, but in phosphorus we have 5 electrons. 3 will form single bond with these 3 chlorine and 2 electrons are left. It means one pair of electron is left, and that is the lone pair. So when we have 3 bond pair and 1 lone pair, the shape is pyramidal shape, and the geometry for sp3 hybridization is tetrahedral. So this PCl3, geometry of PCl3 is tetrahedral and the shape is pyramidal shape. This is all about PCl3. Now we will discuss phosphorus pentachloride, that is PCl5. So first of all we will discuss the preparation of PCl5 and after that we will discuss the properties of PCl5. So first preparation of PCl5 is, it is prepared by the reaction of white phosphorus with excess of dry chlorine. So when we treat our white phosphorus with excess of chlorine, here we are getting PCl5, that is phosphorus pentachloride. Next preparation of phosphorus pentachloride is, it is also prepared by the action of SO2Cl2 on phosphorus. That is, when we treat phosphorus with SO2Cl2, here again we are getting our PCl5 and SO2 gas. So these are the two preparation method of phosphorus pentachloride. Now next is properties of PCl5. So first is, it is yellowish white powder and in presence of water it hydrolyzes and converts to POCl3. That is, in moist air or in presence of water it gives POCl3, but this is not the final product of hydrolysis. It will further react and the final product is H3PO4, that is phosphoric acid. So when PCl5 reacts with water, first of all it will form POCl3 and this POCl3 will further react with water and the final product of hydrolysis of PCl5 is phosphoric acid. So in moist air or in presence of water, PCl5 will undergo hydrolysis and the product is phosphoric acid. Next property is, when we heat PCl5, so it will convert to its trichloride and Cl2 gas will release. That is, on heating PCl5 will convert to PCl3 and Cl2. Next property is, it also reacts with organic compound. So again this is our ethanol and this OH group is replaceable. So when we treat this C2H5OH with PCl5, so this OH group is replaced by Cl. And similarly, in case of acetic acid, this OH group is replaced by chlorine of this PCl5. So from here we can say that it is also used in the preparation of some organic compounds, because again this C2H5 ethyl chloride is organic compound and this acyl chloride is also organic compound. Next property of PCl5 is that finely divided metals on heating with PCl5 gives corresponding chloride. For example, if we treat our silver with PCl5, so it will give the chlorides of silver. Similarly, if we have tin and if we react tin with PCl5, so the chloride of tin will form. So these are the reactions and the properties of PCl5. Now we will discuss the structure of PCl5 in solid, liquid and gaseous phase. So in gaseous and liquid phase, the structure of PCl5 is trigonal bipyramidal and the hybridization of the central atom is sp3d. We can calculate with the formula, that is half into, here we have 5 electron in phosphorus and it is forming 5 single bonds with chlorine. So the value comes out to be half number of valence electron in central atom, that is 5, plus number of monovalent bonds, that is 5. So here we are getting the steric number is 5, and for 5 the hybridization of this phosphorus is sp3d, and when we have 5 bond pair and the steric number is 5, then the geometry is trigonal bipyramidal. Now in trigonal bipyramidal we have two types of bonds. This is the skeletal of trigonal bipyramidal. In this, these two bonds, these are known as axial bonds and these 3 bonds are known as equatorial bonds. So what will happen in trigonal bipyramidal, these 3 bonds, they will repel these 2 bonds and these 3 bonds are also repelled by these 2 bonds. Now the repulsion by these 3 bond pairs is more, and that is why these bonds are longer as compared to these 3 bonds. And these 2 bonds, these 2 longer bonds are known as axial bonds. So in trigonal bipyramidal we have 2 types of bond, 2 axial bond and 3 equatorial bond. and the bond length of axial bonds are longer as compared to equatorial bond. So when we heat PCl3, so what will happen? These two bonds, they will break and we get PCl3 plus Cl2. Now this is the structure of PCl5 in gaseous and liquid phase. Now if we want to draw the structure in solid state, then the structure of this PCl5 in solid state is, in solid state this PCl5 it exists as an ionic solid. That is, in case of solid state, in solid state it will exist as PCl4 positive and PCl6 negative. And the structure of PCl4 is tetrahedral and PCl6 negative is octahedral. So in solid state the structure of PCl5 is PCl4 positive and PCl6 negative. And in case of liquid and gaseous phase, the structure is trigonal bipyramidal. So this is all about the halides of phosphorus. Now next topic is oxoacids of phosphorus. So phosphorus forms a number of oxoacids. Now we will discuss the structure and the oxidation state of phosphorus in oxoacids and some characteristics bonds in oxoacids of phosphorus. Now the common thing in all the oxoacids of phosphorus is that it contains one P double bond O and one OH attached to phosphorus. This is the common structure. OH, it can be more than one, and that will depend upon the formula of that oxoacid. So first oxoacid of phosphorus is hypophosphorus acid and the formula is H3PO2. Now the oxidation state of phosphorus in H3PO2 is +1. We can calculate by the formula. Here we are calculating the oxidation number of phosphorus. So we can consider it as X plus, for hydrogen we have +1. For oxygen, the common oxidation number is -2. So here we have 2 oxygen, so it will be +2 equals to 0 because overall there is no charge on this molecule. So if we calculate, so it is X plus 3 minus 4, that will be equal to 0. So from here the value of X will be equal to +1. So this is how we can calculate the oxidation number of phosphorus. Now how we will draw the structure of this oxoacid of phosphorus? So first of all we will draw, in center we have phosphorus. Now one double bond oxygen is attached to this phosphorus and one OH bond is. Now here we are left with 2 hydrogen. So these 2 hydrogen, they will form single bond with phosphorus. So this is the structure of H3PO2, that is hypophosphorus acid, and the oxidation number of phosphorus in H3PO2 is +1 and the structure is tetrahedral structure. Next structure is orthophosphorus acid and the formula for orthophosphorus acid is H3PO3. Now on the similar basis, just as we have calculated the oxidation state of phosphorus in H3PO2, here we can also calculate the oxidation number of phosphorus, and the oxidation number of phosphorus comes out to be 3. X plus 3 minus 6, that will be equal to -3, and therefore the overall value of X will be +3. Now how we will draw the structure for this H3PO3? So in center we have phosphorus. One phosphorus oxygen's double bond is common in oxoacid of phosphorus and one OH. Now here we are left with 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. So again one OH bond is also formed and 1 hydrogen, it will be attached to phosphorus via single bond. So this is the structure for H3PO3. Now third oxoacid of phosphorus is orthophosphoric acid or phosphoric acid and the formula is H3PO4. Now here we can also calculate the oxidation number, and the oxidation number of phosphorus comes out to be X plus 3 minus 8, that will be equal to 0. So the value of X will be +5. So here the oxidation number of phosphorus is +5. Now next thing is how we will draw the structure for the oxoacid of H3PO4. So here phosphorus is in center, one double bond oxygen is common, one OH. Now we are left with two hydrogen and two oxygen. So they can be joined by single bond with phosphorus. So in H3PO4 we have 3 OH bonds and 1 phosphorus oxygen double bond. So this is the structure for orthophosphoric acid. Now next structure is pyrophosphorus acid, and the formula is H4P2O5. So in this we have two phosphorus atom. So this phosphorus is attached to oxygen via double bond, and one OH is attached to it, and one phosphorus hydrogen bond is there. Now in between two phosphorus we have oxygen bond. So we have one phosphorus oxygen phosphorus bond, and on each phosphorus we have one phosphorus oxygen double bond and one phosphorus OH bond and one pH bond. So this is the structure of H4P2O5, and the oxidation number of phosphorus is +3 in H4P2O5. Phosphorus is hypophosphoric acid, and the formula is H4P2O6. So in the similar manner we can draw the structure for hypophosphorus acid. We have two central atoms and these are connected to oxygen via double bond, and we have two OH bond on this phosphorus and two OH bond on this phosphorus, and there exists single bond between phosphorus and phosphorus atom. So next structure is pyrophosphoric acid. The formula is H4P2O7. So here the oxidation number of phosphorus in this case is also 5, and here we have two central atoms and oxygen is connected to phosphorus via double bond in both the phosphorus atom, and here we have two OH group is attached to phosphorus, and here also two OH group are attached to phosphorus, and we have one phosphorus oxygen phosphorus bond in this H4P2O7. Now next is metaphosphoric acid. The formula is HPO3 thrice N, and if we want to calculate the oxidation number of phosphorus in HPO3N, it comes out to be +5. Now the structure of HPO thrice N is, here we have phosphorus, it is connected to oxygen via double bond, we have one OH, and this is a polymeric structure in which this O is further connected to phosphorus, and here we have a chain of structure. This N is any number. Now if we want to draw the structure, cyclic structure of HPO3 thrice N, where the N is 3. So the formula comes out to be HPO3 thrice, and the name is cyclic trimetaphosphoric acid. So how we will draw the structure of HPO thrice 3? So here we have, if we calculate the number of hydrogens, so it comes out to be H3, P3 and O9. So how we will draw the structure of H3, P3, O9? So first of all, just as we draw benzene ring, we will draw at alternate position oxygen, phosphorus, phosphorus, oxygen, oxygen and phosphorus. These all are connected via single bond. After that, the common structure in oxoacid of phosphorus is that phosphorus is connected to oxygen via double bond, and one OH group is attached to this phosphorus. So first of all we drew oxygen, phosphorus, phosphorus. Here we have oxygen, oxygen and phosphorus. Now we have three phosphorus, and the common is that all these phosphorus are attached to oxygen via double bond, and one OH group is attached to this phosphorus. So in this way we can draw the structure of cyclic trimetaphosphoric acid, and the oxidation number of phosphorus in HPO3 is 5 +5. So this is all about the structure of oxoacids of phosphorus. So from here we can say that in oxoacids of phosphorus, the phosphorus is tetrahedrally surrounded by other atoms. All these acids contains at least one phosphorus oxygen, and that is connected via double bond, and one POH bond. So the oxoacids in which phosphorus has lower oxidation state, that is less than 5, contain, in addition to phosphorus double bond oxygen and POH bond, that is they contain they contain a bond other than POH and P double bond O bond. Whereas the acids in which the oxidation state of phosphorus is +3, so they tend to disproportionate to higher oxidation and lower oxidation state. For example, in H3PO3, the oxidation number of phosphorus is +3, so it will disproportionate into higher oxidation state as well as in lower oxidation state. For example, here the oxidation number of phosphorus is +3. In H3PO4, the oxidation number of phosphorus is +5. And in PH3, the oxidation number of phosphorus is -3. So from here we can say that the oxoacids of phosphorus in which the oxidation state of phosphorus is +3, it tend to disproportionate into higher oxidation number and lower oxidation number. Next property of this oxoacids of phosphorus is acids which contain pH bond have a strong reducing property. For example, H3PO2. Now in H3PO2, if we draw the structure of oxoacid, so it will be P double bond O, 1 OH bond, and here we have 2 pH bond. So due to the presence of these 2 pH bonds, it shows reducing property. That is, if we treat our H3PO2 with AgNO3, so it will reduce Ag and convert itself to H3PO4. Similarly, we can comment on the reducing nature of H3PO3. In H3PO3 we have 1 pH bond, so that can be also used for the reducing purpose. And the last property of oxoacids is only hydrogen atom which are attached to the oxygen are ionizable and causes basicity. That is, if we want to calculate the basicity in these oxoacids, so we will only consider those hydrogen atom which are attached to the oxygen. So for example, if this is the phosphorus acid H3PO3, and if we want to calculate the basicity, so here we have 2 hydrogen atoms which are attached to oxygen, so the basicity of this acid is 2. So this is all about the oxoacids of phosphorus. So after doing this, you can solve NCERT exercise question number 15th and 16th. So this is the homework for today's class. So now I will be discussing the homework that I gave you in lecture number 3. First question is, illustrate how copper metal can give different products on reaction with HNO3. And the answer is, when we treat copper with dilute HNO3, the product is copper nitrate and nitrogen monoxide is formed. But when we use concentrated nitric acid, the product is again copper nitrate, but in this case nitrogen dioxide is released. So these are the product. Depending upon the concentration, we have different oxides of nitrogen in these two reactions. Now next question is, give the resonating structure of NO and N2O5. So we can calculate with the help of, we can draw the structures, that is Lewis dot structure. First of all, we will calculate the total number of valence electron. So in nitrogen we have 5, in oxygen we have 6. So total we have, here we have 2 oxygens, the total number of valence electron are 17. So when we draw the Lewis dot structure, so here we have one odd electron present on nitrogen. Similarly we can draw the Lewis dot structure for N2O5. So we can draw the resonating structure of NO2 by shifting of this double bond to this nitrogen and oxygen. So the resonating structure for NO2 is N double bond O, and on this side we have, so this is the resonating structure for NO2. Similarly we can draw the resonating structure for N2O5. Next question is, why does R3P double bond O exist but R3N00 does not? And the answer for this question is, in R3P double bond O, the covalency of nitrogen is 5. And we have discussed that phosphorus can show covalency 5 or 6. But in case of nitrogen, the maximum covalency is 4. But in this case, the covalency of nitrogen is 5. That is why this will not exist. Next question is nitrogen exists as N2 whereas phosphorus as P4. And the answer for this question is nitrogen, because of small size and high electronegativity, forms p-pi multiple bond, and therefore it exists as a diatomic molecule having triple bond between the two nitrogen atoms. Whereas in case of phosphorus, due to its larger size and less electronegativity, it usually not forms p-pi multiple bonds with itself, and it prefers to form single bond between phosphorus atom, and therefore it exists as P4 molecule. Next question is explain the differences between white phosphorus and red phosphorus. So this question we have already discussed in the allotropic forms of phosphorus. Next question is why does nitrogen show catenation property less than phosphorus? And the answer is nitrogen single bond is weaker than phosphorus single bond. Because of small size of nitrogen, there is force of repulsion between nitrogen single bond, or we can say that nitrogen single bond nitrogen is weaker than phosphorus single bond. That is why the catenation power is less as compared to phosphorus. So these are the questions which I gave you in lecture number 3. Thank you. Have a nice day.